feels so damn good to just be me again.
I see swimming pools and living rooms and airplanes. I see a little house.
Hi guys, it's Ella. Today is a very different type of video than I usually do. And I was planning on filming something completely different. I was planning on filming a Los Angeles haul, which I think I still do, but I just sort of decided as I was getting ready to film that video that there was something else I needed to say first. And so for the sake of authenticity, my unpacked suitcase, or my not unpacked suitcase from BeautyCon and a pile of clean clothes is behind me. I just wanted to jump on here and say something to you guys. Not really quickly, but it's just something that I want to talk to you about. So here we go. If you've been subscribed for a while, you may remember that last summer I went on kind of a kick of doing talking types of videos and more serious types of videos rather than my usual makeup tutorials and things like that. And then as the year progressed, I got back into the types of videos like that, the makeup tutorials and whatnot. And I haven't really sat down and chatted with you guys in a really long time. And I know I've been kind of inconsistent on this channel lately, and there's lots of reasons that I could say, you know, this is why I've been gone, this is why I haven't been here as consistently as I'd like to. But what it comes down to is my work ethic has just kind of gone down the drain for a little while as I get kind of into summer and like transitioning out of high school, out of junior year of high school, because still have 1 year left. But anyway, something I want to tell you guys about is also, if you remember last June, I believe, I posted a video called I Have a Secret. And if you haven't watched it, I'll go ahead and link it in the cards or whatever here. But it's basically a video about my struggle with an eating disorder that I had freshman year of high school. And that video got one of the most incredible responses of any other video on this channel, anything I've ever made. And to this day, it was over a year ago, and I still receive messages just about every week on Instagram or other platforms saying how much I helped somebody or it made someone feel like they're not alone or anything like that. Which is really a blessing to be able to have this platform to reach out to people and help people and support people and hopefully make your day that much better. And since then I haven't really talked much about myself and my health and my mental health and whatnot and so forth and things related to that. And my eating disorder is gone. Like, that was resolved a long time ago. But when you have a mental health glitch, I guess I would say, I guess I don't really feel like it ever goes away. If you deal with depression at some point, you're probably still going to have sad times at other points in your life, even if after the first time it's totally resolved. And the same thing goes for anxiety or ADHD or OCD. Even if you're getting treatment for it, professional help, it's still going to come back in small little ways or affect you different ways. You know, it's not something that I don't think hardly ever gets completely totally resolved. And so this is not to say that my eating disorders come back, not at all. But I do want to talk about the depression and anxiety part of dealing with an eating disorder. And I think that really, when I was going through that hard time of restricting food and having a really terrible body image, it was more a manifestation of depression and anxiety than it was a isolated eating disorder, if that makes sense. And depression runs very strongly in my family, and I know it's very, very common, and you know, more and more you're seeing people talk about it, teenagers are talking about it, there's online forums talking all about it, and it's just a much more publicly accepted thing, I guess I would say. And that's what I want to talk about today. So earlier this year, in the fall and winter, I went through a really rough patch, and a lot of you guys noticed, even if you didn't say something, there was just kind of like a feel on this channel. I really still enjoy making content, but my love for it had been a little bit subdued by the fact that I was depressed. And I think a big part of the puzzle there is a seasonal depression. I live in a very gloomy, gray area of the country, and the winters and falls can just bring you down. But it was more than that. I was coming home from school and just like falling asleep and not wanting to do anything, and I didn't really pinpoint that it was depression, even though like it occurred to me. I didn't really, I don't know, nail it down or like address it or label it, I guess, for a long time. And it got to the point where I felt just like hopeless, and I was freaked out that I was gonna feel like this for the longest time, like for the rest of my life, because I just felt so unmotivated and just down and kind of lonely, and I wasn't really letting anybody in on what was happening with me. Like, I put on a happy face for my friends, for my family, but it was really affecting me, and it was affecting me in really ways that affected me on a bigger scale than just not feeling great for a day. It was not feeling great for a couple weeks. It was not filming for a couple weeks, even though YouTube is what makes me happiest. Like, I wasn't doing what made me happiest because I didn't feel like I deserved to be happy. Because I felt so bad already. And if you've been through depression or anything like that, you know what I'm talking about. And then in February, I think, I was sitting in first period class, and I've never had a panic attack before. But I was sitting in my first period class, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. And there was nothing that triggered it. We were watching a movie. There was nothing that was like something I was thinking about. I wasn't even hardly thinking. I was just sort of watching the movie and taking my notes. And I thought my lung had deflated or something like that, which is what happens when you watch too much Grey's Anatomy. But so I asked my teacher if I could go to the nurse's office because I was afraid that it was asthma or something like that. And so they sent me, and my nurse called my mom, and she came pick me up. And by the time she got there, I felt like I was gonna pass out because I wasn't getting enough oxygen. And I was really panicky, and I wasn't panicky because of any reason other than the fact that I didn't feel like I could breathe, which is gonna make anybody panicky. So my mom took me to the doctor, my usual physician, and he was like, "Ellie, you're having a panic attack." And that didn't seem right to me because I've never had one before, and there wasn't anything that triggered it, and it didn't feel like that could be right because I wasn't panicky about anything. But he was really, really certain, and I was like, okay, I trust you. You've been my doctor since I was a baby. And so I went home, and I still couldn't breathe, and there wasn't really anything to do about it except he wanted me to take deep breaths and, do the relaxation. And later that night, I started hyperventilating because I was freaked out that I was not breathing. My brain was spiraling into all these things like, oh, you probably have lung cancer, or a deflated lung, or some sort of object in your airway. Like, I mean, really just all these crazy, crazy things, and I just could not even process it. And the next morning, my mom took me to the emergency room for the first time. They gave me 3 Xanax, which knocked me out for 6 hours. And as soon as I woke up, as soon as my eyes opened, I said, I can't breathe. And it continued like that for a couple months. They weren't able to help me find a medication that didn't just make me go to sleep, because that's what Xanax did. It didn't make me calm, it just knocked me out. There was another medication that they tried. They're like, here, take this if you're feeling really panicky, which I was feeling really panicky all the time. And I hated it because it made me go to sleep, and I couldn't just go to sleep every time I wasn't feeling I could breathe, because I wasn't feeling I could breathe at all, and I'd just be asleep all the time, and that wasn't an option. And it really escalated into kind of the peak of the bad anxiety, not being able to breathe, really just bad things, when I was in Europe, which, looking back on it, I think that probably a part of that was because we went to Europe 4 days after the attacks in Brussels, and we actually did go to Brussels then too. And so it was nerve-wracking because the atmosphere in every place we went, London, Paris, Brussels, and Amsterdam, was very, very different than it would have been if there hadn't been terrorism attacks just recently. And everybody was a little bit on edge, and security was heightened everywhere. There were people with submachine guns walking around everywhere, and it was unnerving, and I was miserable. I freaked out when you go to Amsterdam, there's canals all around the city. It's a canal-based city. It's not really roads, it's just like boats. And we were going to go on a canal tour. And I have never had problems with boats. I've been on sailboats, I've been on cruise boats, I've been on little motorboats. I've never had a problem with them at all. I don't get seasick, I don't get nervous, nothing. And we were getting on this little boat that was obviously very, very safe, tons of tourists on it, and the canals are filled with other boats. If something had happened, we would have just fallen into the river. It was a very, very small little river. Like, there was nothing to be worried about. But I froze up completely getting on that boat, and I started crying because I was so panicky, and I've never felt anything like that, and I did not feel in control of my body because I had no idea why I was freaking out. There was no reason to freak out. It was unnerving to have this experience where I was so incredibly afraid of something and not being able to calm myself down about it. And I was incredibly distraught that entire trip, and it really sucked because I wanted to enjoy it, but I couldn't fully enjoy my surroundings. I couldn't fully enjoy the people that I was with. when I was so on edge and so freaked out and not being able to breathe and all these different things. So when we came back from Europe, I had a talk with my mom, and I was like, this is like impacting my quality of life, obviously. If this is just anxiety, this is out of control. I need more help than what I'm getting. And I went on medication. And there is a huge controversy about anxiety medication and depression medication and antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. And I would just like to say that for anybody who is struggling with depression or is struggling with anxiety or panic attacks or anything, number one, it's probably treatable if you reach out and talk to your doctor about it, or talk to a mental health professional about it, or talk to your parents about it, or anything like that. And, you know, I was a little bit apprehensive about the whole medication thing, because it's unnerving to think that a medication could have a effect on your brain that would change your way of thinking or would change your way of feeling. And I understand that. I understand being a little bit nervous about that. But I feel like myself again. And I haven't felt like myself for a very long time, because the fall and the winter were such a sad, just depressed time, honestly. And then the spring was so incredibly panicky. And I started taking this medication in, I want to say, the end of April. And I haven't felt like this, like me, for, like, since sophomore year. Like, since the beginning of sophomore year. And it's an incredible feeling. I feel alive. I feel energized. I feel happy. I just feel like me. And it's not making me feel any more, I don't know, happy than I should be. It doesn't make you feel high. It doesn't make you feel like out of control of your body. It just makes you feel like you. And that's really tough, especially when you've had some form of depression or anxiety or anything like that for a long time, because you forget what it's like to feel like you. And yeah, you just forget the way it feels. And so when you get back to it, it feels so damn good to just be me again and be in control of my life again, and not want to just sleep all the time, and not feel like I can't breathe, and not feel like I can't get a deep breath, not be just panicking and freaking out at every little thing, and breaking into a cold sweat. And I mean, it just makes you feel normal. It just makes you feel okay. And so that's really all I want to say. And I'm not a mental health professional. I don't know, the specifics about these drugs, or medications, or whatever you want to call it. So I can't offer any professional advice, obviously. But I really just want to say that there's a huge percentage of the population that struggles with some form of depression or anxiety or panic attacks or OCD or ADHD or all the billions of phobias or just anything. You're not alone. Whatever it is, you're not alone. And it's so important to understand that, and it's so important to understand that there is help out there. And as cliche as it sounds, it gets better if you let it. And you have to reach out. You have to make your situation known. You have to let people know that you're struggling in order to get help. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get it. If you do, you will. And there are people who devote their lives to helping other people with their mental health struggles. That's just, I mean, I feel like there's such a shame about it. There's such a, people don't like to admit that they struggle with these things, but it's so important to talk about, and it's so important to admit. And when it gets to a point where people are harming themselves or contemplating suicide, you just need to reach out. You just really, really need to reach out. And maybe medication isn't the right thing for you, and that's totally cool too. But there's a big chance that it could help. If it's really, really bad, there's a big chance that could help. And I would highly recommend exploring your options and trying out things. If you're curious, the med that I'm on is Zoloft. It's a wide-range antidepressant, anti-anxiety med. Usually they put people of my age on Prozac, which I've been told is actually not that good for anxiety, because it can actually aggravate anxiety, but make you happier, so you're basically just like jittery. But yeah, everybody's gonna have a different thing that works for them. Everybody's having a different dose that works for them. I'm on a very, very low dose of Zoloft, and it's not a permanent thing either. When you go on antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds, it's usually a short-term thing because it brings the chemicals that your brain is supposed to be reducing back up to its normal level. And then once you wean yourself off the medication, the chemical production stays at the level that it brought it up to. So right now, my prognosis is being on the Zoloft for about 8 months and then seeing how I do. But I just want to say that whether it's a permanent fix or a temporary fix or meds don't work for you at all, whatever it is, there's something out there that will help you. And whatever you're struggling with, there is somebody out there that can help you. And I just really hope you guys are all okay, because when I first made my eating disorder video, I had just the biggest response I could have ever imagined. Not only from people, you know, around the world and around the country, but from my own friends who were saying that they struggle with the same thing, or they've struggled with depression and they understand parts of what I was saying and things like that. And so I just felt like it was important to keep that conversation going, even if it is like once a year, because that video was so long ago. I don't even know. I don't even know what I want you to take from this video. I just felt like I should talk about it. And it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to need help, and it's okay to need medication, and it's okay to need therapy, and it's okay to need meditation. It's like literally whatever you need, it's okay. As long as you're okay, it's okay. So yeah, that's my video for today. If you guys have any questions or you need help, feel free to leave a comment below or message me on Instagram. My Snapchats are always open to the public, and I will have my email written down below if you would prefer that, and you can keep it anonymous as you like, but I really hope that I can help out some of you guys, because it was such a rewarding experience talking to some of you who had struggled with similar things to me with eating disorders and things like that. It was so wonderful to hear your stories and know that I had helped you or affected you in some way. So obviously, again, I can't give any professional advice or professional help, but if you have a question or a comment or a thought or anything like that, I would love to hear it. So yeah, sorry for the kind of heavy topic just randomly out of the blue, but I just felt like I needed to say something and let you guys know what's going on with me. And just so you know, I feel fantastic right now. I feel like me. And of course I have sad days, and of course I still cry, and of course I get angry, and of course I'm not all, you know, happy and bubbly all the time. But I'm as happy and bubbly as I am as a person, as I am without any depression or anxiety. And yeah, I'm just me. I'm doing really well. And when I do get sad, it's not crippling. And when I do get anxious, it goes away after a little while. It doesn't stay around for weeks. And yeah, so that's all I have to say for today. I love you guys so, so much. And just know that no matter what you're going through, you are more loved than you can ever imagine. And there are always people out there who are rooting for you and are in your corner, no matter how alone you might feel. And there's always help out there. And there's always people looking out for you. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, or I'm not even gonna like self-promo myself, but make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of me and things that are less serious than this, like a Los Angeles haul, which I'm going to film next. Yeah, I'll see you guys really soon with a new video. Love you. Bye.